Greetings and welcome everyone to my first impressions of Ittle Dew. Ittle Dew is this sort of throwback to a simpler time of SNES games. Now if you've ever played, say, A Link to the Past, then this game should look pretty familiar to you in how it's sort of styled and such. Now, it does take some very superficial elements from The Legend of Zelda and put them into a more modern form, but for the most part it's its own unique little game. In fact, where The Legend of Zelda is really more combat focused and has a side emphasis on puzzles, this is sort of reversed. Instead of it focusing on combat and a little bit of puzzles, it focuses a lot on puzzles and a little itty bitty bit on combat. And to that regard, this game does have the game isn't as good in terms of combat as The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past or anything like that, but it does have some simpler puzzles, or some more unique puzzles, which is kind of interesting. Now, you play as this little girl. She's basically just wound up here for some reason, and she's basically trying to adventure and shit like that, and so she's doing all of her stuff, and she's trying to find treasure, and that's our main objective here, just to find some treasure and dick about, really. That's our main goals. And so what we've got to do is we've got to make our way through this castle and slowly but surely find out ways to kill all these people. Now, as of right now, we only have one item, and that is our little stick here, and that's good enough for whacking people repeatedly and then just kind of kill them like that. But so in each room, or at least later on in the game, each room will have a puzzle, and in the game, the puzzles mostly consist of pushing blocks. So if you've ever wanted to say push a block, then oh man, you're in luck, because this game has a lot of blocks that need to get pushed. Now you just saw me open a door by pushing those blocks, and we can also open this door by setting that thing on fire. And now we can also get around here in certain other ways, like we can set that thing on, we can take that water out, we can take that ice block out by setting it on fire, and there's a lot of different ways for us to progress in unique ways, and it's pretty interesting little game. There aren't that many puzzles that will stump your brain for like decades, but for the most part it does do a good enough job at letting these sorts of puzzles, you know, sort of like make you think about what you need to do, you know. It's like they're good enough. They're not childishly simple, but they're also not like incredibly complicated. So it's that nice balance between being complicated and not being complicated at all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying, you smart little guy. This is the item shop. Now, this is basically just the item shop where you pick up your item. I'm going to pick up this fire sword, and there we go. We're giving him 200 coins, and just like that, we're sent flying. Now, every time you pick up a new item, you are sent to a dungeon for that specific item. So we just picked up the fire sword, so we're going to the fire sword dungeon. In this dungeon, there will be a bunch of puzzles made just specifically around the fire sword, trying to instruct you on how to use it, which is pretty cool. But right now, we don't have it because we got sort of sent here, and yeah, so we're gonna have to go on our mission to try and find it. Alright, so this is the professional shortcut, which basically means we have to try and find a way to solve this puzzle. We have to try and find a way to solve the puzzle if we want a quicker shortcut. Get the fire sword, go west. And now to find out how to beat a specific puzzle, we can just like click on the thing that we need to we need to get rid of in order to progress, and then it'll tell us what we need to interact with in order to solve it. So we need to interact with these two things and set them on fire in order to progress. So to do that, we need the fire sword, which happened to just somehow fall into a chest. So that's useful. And now, if we do ever get stuck, we can just press the T key, and we'll get a tip from Tipsy. Now, the keys are rebindable. This game is made in Unity, so it allows for fully rebindable keys, and it also has controller support. Now, with that being said, let's just set these two bundle of sticks on fire, and then we're out of there. Simple as that. Now we can just set the rest of this stuff on fire. The bombs, goodbye, don't stand a chance. Ow, hurt myself, lost a bit of my heart on the top left, and now we've got to deal with this guy. And so our fire sword can also break... Oh, he's going to hit me with that. They can also break ice blocks, so that's also pretty useful. So our fire sword is pretty damn cool, Now, this game does have an emphasis on speedrunning. The developers have made the game in mind with speedrunning. So I believe the game's pretty short, but that's only because they want you to speedrun the game so you can do it faster. Actually, there is an achievement for beating the game in under 15 minutes. 15 minutes! So they obviously realized that this game, so they made it in mind with speedrunning. So if you are into speedrunning, then I guess this is the game for you, because oh my god. Yes, 15 minutes to beat a game, that is insane. I could never do that. I could maybe do that. Should I try and do that? No, I probably shouldn't. Anyway, now we just have to continue to solve our puzzles by pushing these blocks. Oops, I messed that up. Actually, you know what? I can still salvage this. There we go. So we can just push that block there, on there, and there we go. Oh, no, there we go. Just like that, we open it up. Now, if we ever do get stuck on a puzzle, say like we mess it up, so like, let me just try and mess this puzzle up. So let's push this into the lava. We can't actually do that, so let's just blow it up. Now we actually need to push it down here, but say like, oh no, I messed it up. What do? Press escape, retry room. Simple as that. So if you ever get stuck on a puzzle, or you just somehow manage to mess up beyond repair, then you can just restart the room and do it like that. So even if you do mess up, like they're like, no man, don't sweat it. Here you go, have another try. So the puzzles are pretty easy in that regard as well, because, well, not easy, I suppose they're pretty forgiving, I suppose, because they don't try and punish you too much for failing. So if you mess up, then it's like, man, don't sweat it at all. It happens to the best of us. And so you can do it just like that. So now, actually, hold on, I messed up there, actually. What we were supposed to do is something completely different, I believe. Oh shit, he nearly hit me. Alright, let's just light these things on fire. There we go. And now we just, so there hasn't been that much combat in this game yet, so I can't really show off what I mean about the, actually, don't think I'm supposed to go that way. So I can't really show off what I mean by the combat, but if you've played like A Link to the Past or watched some stuff of it, you can sort of tell that Link controls in a very interesting sort of way, like, and he has like lots of attacks that will allow you to engage in enemies in unique and interesting ways, and you can hit them in like super cool ways as well. But this game doesn't really have that. It sort of has just, you know, the basic little swing thing, and it has a really short range, and there's no real ranged attacks in this game at all. So it's just like, it's not intended for combat, which is fine. It's intended for puzzles, but don't come into this game thinking that, oh hey, I want to play some Legend of Zelda, but I don't want to emulate it. This looks good enough. No, this isn't trying to, well, this is trying to be Legend of Zelda, but sort of in reverse. I mean, like, look at the character's gender. I mean, Link is a boy and this is a girl. See, completely different stuff. See? And just like that, we have entered the first boss room. And now each temple has their own boss. Well, pretty much. So we've got 4 bosses in the entire game. The one final boss, and then the bosses for the actual main areas, like the temples. So we get 3 items, and we get 3 bosses from those items. So that's what we have to do. So now eat all of the bosses will require you to use your item that you pick up in the dungeon, much like Legend of Zelda, and then you just sort of have to beat them up using it. Oops, I messed that up. Should have waited for him to get closer. Alright, now we get to fight some actual enemies. So we just picked up a heart there that regenerates all of our hearts, like you would expect. So if you run out, so if you take damage, you will lose bits of your heart, then you just pick up some more hearts and you will pick them right back up. Well, you'll regenerate your heart, because, you know, eating hearts is yummy and tasty and healthy and all that. Alright, there we go. Alright, now with that, we can just delay him. Oh, there we go. Got him here. So, to basically beat this boss, all you have to do is just hit the bomb, light the bomb on fire using your fire sword, which you couldn't have set it on fire without the fire sword. So hey, the fire sword's pretty nifty, ain't it? And you also need to continually hit him until he stays in his position so that the bomb will blow him up. So let's just bring him back up here. Come on, mate. Come on. You know you want some of this. There we go. Now you should just blow up. Done. So the combat is okay. It's passable. It's nothing amazing. It's not going to revolutionize the game or gaming or anything like that. But it is possible, and it does. Like I said, it's not intended to be a combat-focused game. It's intended to be a puzzle-focused game. So if you want to emphasis on puzzles with some light-hearted little combat that isn't too challenging or demanding. So if you're looking for a game that's sort of like The Legend of Zelda, but instead of having a focus on combat, has a focus on puzzles, and is a much smaller, more tight experience, then Ittle Dew will do just fine. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my first impressions, and GG.